Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Game 2. The Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Game 1 last night, an offensive explosion for the Cardinals. Yachty, a 2-run double. Tommy Pham, a triple that scored 2. Paul DeYoung, home run number 22. Jose Martinez adding insurance late. It added up to a win. It leads us to our leaderboard presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Best record in the month of September. The Indians win again today, 14-0. Right behind them, the Cardinals at 9-2. The Cardinals start playing tonight, 2 games back in the Central, 3.5 out in the wild card. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Game 2 here on Fox Sports Midwest. Jack Flaherty gets the call for the Redbirds.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty, the #1 draft pick of the Cardinals back in 2014. 21 years of age, already pitching in the big leagues. This will be his 3rd major league start. He's gotten better. The second one, he's looking for his first major league win tonight.
Jack Flaherty gets the call for the St. Louis Cardinals. Game number 2, the Cardinals, the Cincinnati Reds. Redbirds are rolling. Baseball coming up. Just about set to go. It's baseball tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. Game number 2, the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm Dan McLaughlin coming to you from the broadcast booth at Busch Stadium. Across the street, AT&T rooftop, a former Cardinal pitcher leading the way for us tonight. That's Brad Thompson, and he's joined by the Double-A pitching coach of the Cardinals, Jason Simon-Tachi. So, guys, what do we expect out of Jack Flaherty here tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been very impressive to watch him his first couple of starts. He made adjustments in the second one, got the breaking ball working. You could tell he got a little confidence going, and I expect to see him grow from that first outing to the second outing to this third one. And fortunately today, we have Simo here who actually had him in Double-A. He can tell us a little bit more about Flaherty.
Yeah, he looks like he's coming into his own right now. Like you said, maybe a little getting his feet wet the first couple games. Second game, he actually had some confidence showing in the last couple innings. But I'm pretty sure he wants to get out there, work ahead, stay ahead, and make him put the ball in play early.
All right, guys, thank you. We'll check in with you throughout the evening. Jack Flaherty gets the call tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals. The rookie is ready to go. So are we. Baseball coming up. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. Busch Stadium, the scene. Another big crowd expected tonight. The Cardinals have been perfect so far on this homestand. As the Redbirds have won 4 straight, they find themselves 2 games back in the Central Division, 3.5 out in the wild card. The Rockies just keep on winning too.
Well, everybody ahead of the Cardinals won last night, but so did the Cardinals, and that's what you have to do. You have to just concentrate on your game. You let all of us watch the scoreboard. By the way, it's 1-0 Mets over the Cubs in the first inning, first batter. But Flaherty's going to get a chance out here to go out. Been very impressive. Only 21 years of age. #1 draft pick in 2014. And here you see him already in the big leagues and really impressed everybody in spring training. Had a great season. And now he finds himself pitching in the big leagues.
So Jack Flaherty, 3rd ever start in the big leagues, 1st ever here at Busch Stadium. Brian Price's lineup with Winker at the top, and then Cozart and Votto, Suarez, Schebler, Duvall, Peraza, Barnhart, switch hitting catcher, and the pitcher batting 9th. Live look at just outside Busch Stadium, Clark Street. Hanging out at Ballpark Village. Go through the gates and get ready for some big league baseball.
And this could be an interesting matchup. The two young pitchers. Mahle is 22. He's made 3 starts already. He's looking for his first victory. Flaherty is 21. He's looking for his first victory. He's already made 2 starts. The first 2 starts were against 2 of the worst offenses in baseball. So this will be a true test tonight when you're facing Cincinnati. They've got a very good offense.
Cincinnati 62-83 this year. On the road, they've really struggled. 21 games below the 500 mark. And Winker looks at a ball. We're underway. 21 games before he was on the DL, he was hitting .310.
He's one of their prize position players.
And hits a high fly ball down the right field line. It is hooking and it is gone. It's a home run. Jesse Winker, a long home run, his 5th of the year, and it's 1-0 Cincinnati.
And he played virtually the entire season at AAA. Only hit 2 home runs there, and very quickly he hit 2 home runs in the big leagues in basically his first couple games. And his 5th home run now, and it was a no-doubter. The only thing was whether it going to stay fair. Middle, not a good place to pitch.
And here is Zach Cozart, who homered last night in the first inning against Lance Lynn. Just like last night, Cardinals fell behind 1-0 and then exploded offensively. Here's the 0-1, and it's 0-2.
Couple breaking pitches and had him off balance. Not only did Cozart hit his 20th home run of the year, but that became the 6th Reds player to have 20 home runs. That's a new record.
It's fouled back. Cozart has hit safely in 5 of his last 6 starts. All-star this year. And in those past 6 games, 3 home runs. A free agent to be, really a career year for Cozart. Always has been noted as a good defensive player. Offense has followed suit this year. And the 0-2 to center. Bader is there for the catch. Periodically, we'll be checking in from the AT&T rooftop with Brad Thompson and Jason Simontachi. One of the great places to take in a game, the AT&T rooftop. Joey Votto digs in.
I was going to say a battle inside the battle. You're facing Votto, one of the premier hitters in all of baseball.
Last 26 games against the Cardinals, .439 average, 9 doubles, 8 home runs. He's had 43 hits in the last 26 games against St. Louis. We were talking before the game. He is putting together a Hall of Fame resume, and he truly is one of the great hitters in all of baseball.
No showing respect. Flaherty here is no problem if we see him walk him. You see too much damage done against Cardinal pitchers.
Turned him loose last night on 3-0, and he looks at a ball. Walk to Votto. Leads the National League in that category.
And that's his 121st walk and the 286th time he's been on base.
Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Pham, Bader, Piscotty in the outfield. Carpenter, DeYoung, Wong, and Martinez on the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Eugenio Suarez, third baseman, batting cleanup. 24 home runs this year. Up the middle, DeYoung loves it. Double play ball, 6-4-3. Nice play, Paul DeYoung up the middle. Exactly what Flaherty needed. Little flip to Wong, the easy turn. 1-0 Cincinnati. homer for the Cincinnati Reds. Reds have actually scored first in 10 of the 15 games against the Cardinals this year. They played them very tough.
Actually won more games against the Cardinals. 8 wins out of the 14 they've played. Here's one of their top pitching prospects.
Tyler Mahle, the right-hander, getting the call tonight. He's 0-2, 3.60 ERA. Similar path that Flaherty took out of high school, minor leagues, and now in the big leagues.
And he signed a year earlier. He was the 7th round draft pick for the Reds. Threw a perfect game earlier this year in the minor leagues.
Here's the first pitch to Carpenter. Career high 4 walks last night. 15th career game with at least 3 walks. He's done that 7 times this season.
Mahle, they say, is a control pitcher, but they haven't seen it yet at the major league level.
And that's hit out of play, nothing at 2. So the walks starting to pile up this season for Matt Carpenter, Akia in the driver's seat. And since 2014, it's Votto, Goldschmidt, Carpenter, Harper, McCutchen, a who's who. The top 5. And a fly ball lifted out to shallow left. Duvall over near the line and makes the catch. In steps Tommy Pham. Pham with a triple last night that scored 2. And part of the comeback for the Cardinals early on in that game. Real issue this year for the Reds has been their pitching, and this is the Cardinal lineup. Cardinals have scored 26 runs in the last 16 innings against Reds pitching. So it's a young man on the mound, don't know a lot about him. Cardinals got to the bullpen again last night.
And that's the game plan. You know, is see a parade of Reds relievers.
2-1. The Reds pitching staff on pace to set the club's record for the highest team ERA in a season, currently at 5.28. The starters, it's near 6. All-time record total with the starters and relievers. 2014 ERA about 5.5. Here's a 3-1 pitch to Tommy Pham. Inside corner, 3-2.
And the odd thing is you would think with the Reds offense, you take a look at this, see where it's a little bit in. Wow, no, perfect pitcher's pitch, right on the black.
John Barber, the home plate umpire. And there's the walk. Paul DeJong, big night in game 1. He was a triple away from the cycle. This one off the wall and left. Not just getting hits, but extra base hits. This one out to center. Home run number 22.
Removed fairly early in that ball game. So they denied him that opportunity for the cycle, but giving him some much needed rest.
So 1 out runner at first, and the pitch taken for a strike. Pham, your runner at first base. He scored a career high 4 runs last night. Look at the amount of runs he's starting to score. It's piled up this year with his good speed.
You know he'd like to steal. He has 19 on the season. One of his goals is 2020. And that'd be quite an accomplishment for somebody that missed the first part of the season playing at AAA. Barnhart is a pretty good thrower.
Tommy Pham, this is game number 112 tonight. He has scored 83 runs. I mean, that really stands out.
Yeah, the first Cardinal with 4 runs scored and just 1 hit or fewer since Renteria back in 04.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Paul DeJong. inside and up, and he struck him out.
Yeah, good pitch up. They say he will utilize that four-seam fastball up in the zone, but up and in, tough.
Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Duvall, Schebler, Winker in the outfield. Suarez, Cozart on the left side of the infield. Peraza and Bono on the right side. Tucker, Barnhart behind the plate. Around the Horn presented by Dobbs. There's Jose Martinez. Swinging a hot bat last week. It's driven in 4. A couple of doubles along the way. The season average at .311. Mallet is the 12th best pitching prospect in their organization entering this year. Here's a 1-0. That no-hitter in the minor leagues was in 2016 for Class A Dayton in Jupiter. Faced only 27 batters, 105 pitches.
Perfect game. I noticed that it was in Jupiter.
Well, that was the no-hitter. The perfect game was earlier this year in Pensacola. It was the first perfect game in the Southern League in 47 years. One ball and 2 strikes. Fans still coming in. Nice night for baseball. We'll wrap up the homestand tomorrow. Business person special tomorrow, 12:45, with our first pitch on the air at noon. It'll be Luke Weaver and Amir Gannett. Friday, Carlos Martinez and John Lackey. 1:20 as we'll see the Chicago Cubs for the final time in Wrigley, and then 4 games here in St. Louis. 2-2, breaks his bat. This ball may drop, and it will. Fair ball. Pham racing to third. First hit for the Cardinals tonight. Runners at first and third. The batter will be Yadier Molina.
Tommy Pham knows there's 2 outs, so just take off. You don't have to look and find where that ball is. Just come over here, pick up your third base coach. Let him decide whether you're going to stay at third or hold up.
The RBI man, 8 RBIs over his last 2 games. Yadier Molina. It's the best 2-game total in his career. Couple of home runs, 10 RBIs in his last 3 games.
Yeah, but 2 home runs. It's unbelievable how he's picked them up right recently, and he's got a great opportunity here.
Jose Martinez, by the way, has reached base in 14 straight. And Yadi has done a lot of damage with 2 outs. 6 of the last 8 he's brought in with 2 outs. Leads the club in 2-out RBIs. Love to add to it. 2 balls and no strikes. Colton Wong at the on-deck circle. It's a nice play here by Tucker Barnhart.
Barnhart, one of the better defensive catchers, leading in defensive percentage. Talked about he's a good thrower.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. All 3 teams vying for the Central Division have allowed a first-inning home run. Cubs to Jose Reyes, Brewers to Andrew McCutchen, and the Cardinals to Jesse Winker.
The Mets have
3-0 pitch. 3-1.
Mets now trail 2-1. Oh, excuse me, the Cubs. Yeah, they're taking a lead, and Pirates have taken a 1-0 lead over Milwaukee with that home run.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. 3-2. Molina, the ability to let the ball get deep. It's one of the reasons why you don't see him strike out all that often. He can foul a pitch away, stays alive.
That's why he's so good at going to right field.
3-2 pitch. The Red starter may have gotten away with that pitch.
Yeah, it looked like a hanging off speed pitch and stayed up there. And now he kind of knows he missed it. His helmet.
(3-2). Molina with a fly ball. Shallow right. May drop. Diving catch by Winker, and it saves a run, maybe two, from scoring. He's hit a home run. He's taken a hit away, and at least one RBI. Great catch, Jesse Winker in right. Cincinnati, let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Jed Jerko came off the DL today and was at third base taking grounders before the game. Jed says his right hamstring isn't 100%, but good enough to try to help his team. The hamstring hasn't bothered him swinging, so the plan is to let Jed pinch hit and have a pinch runner standing by. Jed told me he's not ready to play anywhere defensively quite yet. He says that could come over the next couple days. He also told me running to first base shouldn't be a problem, but he hasn't made any hard turns, so if he finds a gap, getting to second base might be an adventure. Dan, Jed told me I should be able to get to second. It's not like I was setting any speed records going home to second anyway.
All right. Be good to see him back. And there's Adam Wainwright. And Jimmy, I'm curious if you had the chance to visit with Adam. I know he's been throwing a bit here recently, and maybe a timetable of his return and where he might go.
Well, he threw off the mound yesterday, 24 pitches. Derek Lilliquist told me he looked much better, but really no timetable. They want to see how he recovers. He could throw again possibly tomorrow. The main thing is if he can make it back. The question is, where does Waino go? Is it back in the rotation, bullpen? I talked to Michael Gersh about that, and Gersh said they have no idea when Waino will come back or where he will go. They just want to get him back, Dan.
All right, Jimmy, good stuff as always. 1-2 the count. Scott Schebler. Fastball, then he struck him out. First strikeout of the night for Jack Flaherty. Toyota keys to the game, and the look at Jack Flaherty's slider. It's been pretty good, 2 for 16, 6 strikeouts against that slider of Flaherty.
And we're going to see some guys that both these pitchers are going to have at times attempt to do what Flaherty just did, elevate the fastball, try and get that strikeout.
Adam Duvall. Ball 1. Duvall 8th in the National League, 31 home runs, 7th with 96 RBIs. Another good year. Here's a 1-0. Good
That
slider there.
Yep. Keeping it off the plate. Beyond their reach. Looks like a fastball, and then see the little dot, and it just falls and breaks away.
Third swing and miss against his slider already.
Yep. Up and in, you tie up a lot of, I was talking with Kent Merker, former Cardinal, and played for a lot of different clubs, that so much of pitching today is you don't pitch to hitters' weaknesses. You're just throwing strikes. But if you throw, that's a weakness right there, up and in.
1-2 pitch, struck him out. Fastball at 94. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the top of the second.
Just nice and easy, nice motion, and the ball just explodes out of his hand. That second strike, that one up and in, kind of got Duvall's attention.
Well, if Zach Cozart does not come back, good chance that Jose Peraza could be the everyday shortstop next year for the Reds. He's at second base tonight. Hits it out of play. He's hit 300 over the last month.
They were very high on him, and then Scooter Gennett kind of came out of nowhere and took the job away from him at second base.
And a base hit into right field. 2-out hit for Peraza. Watch the drive to the pennant with MLB.tv every night on every device, every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. There's Tucker Barnhart. Seen a lot of playing time with the injured Devin Mesoraco. Reds owe Mesoraco in upwards of $15 million next year, backloaded contract. Homer Bailey will make $25 million. Joey Votto at $25 million, and that's the bulk, the salary structure for the Reds. Let's see if he throws over here. He is.
Barnhart's been hot of late. That's 14 games, 348 average.
Driven in 12 the last 14 games as well. The 1-0 pitch. It's it down the left field line. That ball is slicing and foul. Well, I was excited to invite, I don't know, it was about 35, 40 kids with one parent or another down to the ballpark tonight. Part of the Veterans United group based out of Columbia. The first military kids night at the ballpark. And for those kids, either their mom or their dad has been deployed, and there they are. They had a great time getting autographs before the game and seeing some of the players in pictures. Very proud to do that. The Cardinals and Brady Bruin were awesome in helping put that together. Throw by Molina. Goodbye. Got him. An absolute bullet by Yadier Molina. The second base catches Peraza. The tag by DeYoung. 1-0 Cincinnati. Home run by Jesse Winker. Let's go pitch by pitch in the previous inning.
Duvall's got 31 home runs, big power hitter, just a perfect pitch down and away, strike one fastball, then a good slider down and away. The pitch up and in, that gets your attention. You're a little bit afraid, and then he throws a 95 fastball up in the middle of the plate and can't catch up to it. Throw that ball in, it gets your attention.
Colton Wong, Stephen Piscotty, and Harrison Bader. Third ever major league start. Jack Flaherty, and there's a strike to Wong. 3 for his last 9 with a double. 3 walks, something that stands out, and also base hits to the opposite field. Here's the 0-1. 0-2. It's got the feel of October.
And it's going to be about 85 tomorrow. But we've had just tremendous weather. Even our summer wasn't that hot.
Here's the 0-2.
Now he's got a good changeup. Long saw it in this at bat.
There it is in the dirt. Two balls and 2 strikes on Colton Wong. Cardinals trailing by a run here in the bottom of the second. Just missed. Outside corner, missed, and a walk. Well, Matt Bowman, Stephen Piscotty, they were busy today. They visited Premier Charter School's 4th graders, celebrate their participation. Summer Slugger educational program through Cardinals Care. Participated in the web program this summer. Baseball themed math and literacy games designed to prevent summer learning loss. Also played a couple of games with the kids. Good work done by Matt Bowman and Stephen Piscotty.
Stanford and Princeton.
So you probably could learn from those two.
Probably.
Lindsey Weber also there from the Cardinals Care Department. There's Matt Bowman. Nothing at 2 the count. Piscotty, his average at 241. And the 0-2. Up the middle, base hit. He delivers with a 0-2 single to center field. The first 2 have reached here in the home half of the second.
Now he's lucky that ball did not hit him. Right back up the middle. Not head high, just a little bit, just misses him.
The batter will be Harrison Bader. Runners at first and second. 98 miles per hour off the bat. Piscotty back up the middle. And now here's Bader. A lot of his damage, at least early on, has been done against left-handed pitching. A 205 hitter against righties. But I think you'd have to say his pitch recognition against the right-handers, numbers may not bear it out, has been better second time through.
I think it's such a small sample size, you really can't take too much from it. Remember, he's got a lot of infield hits, and I would say some of those would have to be against the lefties.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Instead, time is called by Barnhart. Ball back up, not striking out nearly as much. That's part of pitch recognition.
I think he gave pitchers too much credit first time around. Now he came back and kind of relaxed, and you're seeing his natural talent take over.
Bader with a fly ball into right center. Schebler makes the catch. Long tags up from second to third, and it brings in Jack Flaherty. Safety squeeze, suicide squeeze, the butcher boy. There's all kinds of different things the Cardinals could do here.
Just let him swing away and drive them all in. He's been around, what, a couple weeks now, so he's getting that more batting practice than he ever received down in the minor leagues. Just looks like an athlete, doesn't he?
Matt Harvey, by the way, the pitcher for the Mets tonight, has tied the game up against Chicago 2-2. Bunting and a foul ball. So the difference, Al, for our viewers, explain the safety squeeze and the suicide squeeze.
Well, the suicide is exactly what it is. You have to get the ball down. You have to bunt it because the runner is coming down the line. As soon as the pitcher releases the ball, he is flying down the line, and so you got to get the ball down. Now, how to counteract that is you throw the ball up and into to the bunter, and it's usually a right-handed bunter. What they're doing now is what you're talking about, the safety squeeze, where you put the ball in play, then that runner from third can come home once the ball is made contact. What the Reds are trying to do, and bottle very aggressively the first baseman coming in, so he was trying to have a play at the plate.
And the strikeout of Flaherty back to the top of the lineup. So couldn't get the bunt down in the second strikeout for the Reds right-hander.
Now he did a good job, trying to make it tough to put that bunt down. Flaherty will learn a very valuable lesson that could have been an opportunity to help him win his first game.
Mentioned that Jason Simon-Tachi and Brad Thompson are over at the AT&T rooftop. We'll visit with them next inning. In particular, Simo he had the chance to coach Jack Flaherty for a while this year. Get your headset on, get ready. Here's the 0-1. Carpenter first time up, fly to left. Nothing into the count. At the AT&T rooftop, over 300 tickets available for every game. All you can eat buffet. Full service bar and free admission to the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. There's a special ticket offer for tonight only. $68. Friday, September 30th and Sunday, October 1st. $68 seats, AT&T rooftop. Visit Cardinals.com/TV. Cardinals.com/TV. Those are important games potentially at the very end of the year. Second baseman is on the outfield grass. That's Peraza. Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Carpenter's going to work that count. Good numbers against the Reds, just a shade under 300 career batting average against them.
He has had 123 plate appearances with a full count this year. 123. It's an incredible amount. 124 plate appearances with a full count.
But you know, I would have thought it was more.
Really?
It seemed like it's almost every time.
Most pitches per plate appearance. Carpenter right behind Curtis Granderson now of the Dodgers. Aaron Judge, Jose Bautista, and Mike Napoli.
If you go up swinging at the first pitch, you're not going to hit for a high average.
Here's a 3-2. Carpenter pulls it foul. He was on base last night 5 times. And the RBI double inside the first base line and the 4 walks. He's just so comfortable hitting with 2 strikes. It does not faze him where it does other players.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, you just seems like every night he's got several full counts, and when you do that, you're usually going to get a pitcher's mistake. Now, can you do something with it?
3-2. Carpenter draws the walk. 3 walks from this right-hander, 2 in the inning, and Tommy Pham coming up. Inning started with a walk to Colton Wong. Piscotty on an 0-2 pitch, a base hit to center. And now the walk to Carpenter after being behind in the count. And Tommy Pham, bases loaded. With the Cardinals trailing 1-0 here in the home half of the second. 3:04 with runners in scoring position.
About 571 with the bases loaded. No home runs yet, but 10 RBIs.
2 outs, bases loaded. First pitch to Pham. Here's the 0-1 pitch. The cover of the Cardinals Game Day magazine.
They do a great job, don't they? Really enjoyed reading the articles.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Tommy Pham. In that particular piece, the cover story on Pham, talking about the vision issues that he's had, but also the fact he's been in the Cardinals organization 12 years. Started out as a shortstop, moved to the outfield, and finally everything coming together. The 1-2. Just a bit high. 95 on the gun. 2-2.
I said that Malley is noted as a control pitcher, and yet it hasn't really translated at the big league level. Maybe trying to give a little too much credit to some of these hitters. Trying to make the perfect pitches.
Inside, 3-2, and they're off with the next pitch. This is where it gets fun.
One of the most exciting plays in all game. 3-2, 2 outs.
Runners go. The 3-2. We'll do it again.
Good pitch
This
up.
crowd really making some noise here early on.
Really filled up nice, hasn't it?
(3-2) again. Pham hits it to the right side. Peraza makes the play, and the threat is through. A visit with Brad Thompson, Jason Simontechi when we come back. AT&T rooftop. That's Jason Simon-Tachi on the left, Brad Thompson on the right. Jason, I'll start with you. You had Jack Flaherty in the minor leagues. Tell us about this young man.
I think you get a pretty good taste of what he can do tonight. I mean, he's taking care of the fastball, obviously after the second pitch. But you see the slider working, getting lefties and righties swinging, missing at it. But just around the plate, staying aggressive and making him swing the bats.
What were you working with him most on in the minor leagues before his jump to Memphis?
Mainly it was just getting out there and competing, having the game teach him pretty much how to pitch, not getting into sequences and really pitching in and working ahead.
Brad, what have you seen from Jack?
Dan, I was at the buffet actually for most of it. But no, I'll tell you what, just the adjustments that he made. Second pitch of the game, he hangs a slider there, and Winker ends up getting him. But then he's buried a few after that. That's been very impressive to me, and we've seen him just get better and better start after start.
Jack Flaherty on the mound. A fly out there by Tucker Barnhart. And here's the pitcher of the Cincinnati Reds. 1-0 our score, and the home run hit by Jesse Winker. I'm curious, Jason, you also saw Sandy Alcantara. We saw him last night. We've seen him twice at the big leagues. How good is this young man?
I think you're seeing just a little bit of piece of the pie right now. I mean, there's no doubt he's going to wow you with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but he's got 3 other pitches that are very good that he doesn't really need to use when he's coming out of the bullpen. But he's got a curveball, slider, and changeup that are all above major league average.
Hey, Simo.
Al, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Here's Sandy right here. Work on that throw a little bit, but got the job done and was impressive. How about Dakota Hudson? There's another name that our fans were going to want to see.
Yeah, Dakota's been really good. Shoot, I think he's got 65% ground ball rate this year. Good sinker, slider, cutter guy. Big frame on the mound, can handle some innings, and he's a little bit of a bulldog, kind of a silent assassin out there.
He is pitching game 1 of the PCL championship tonight. Brad, you've been there before, a guy that just jumps onto the scene. You try to calm your nerves. What do you try to do in between starts if you're Jack Flaherty, just to relax and become accustomed to the big leagues?
Well, I'll tell you what I do. I watch everything that Adam Wainwright is doing. And even though I know Adam is on the DL right now, the way that he is working, I follow him. I ask questions. And that's one thing with Waino, he's so good at it, is giving that information to the young guys. I had a chance to do that with Waino and with Chris Carpenter. That stuff to me is so important, watching how everybody else goes about their business and really learning how to be a pro. He knows how to start every 5 days, but sometimes you don't know the little intricacies of the work that goes in between starts.
All right, guys, we'll check back with both of you later in our telecast. That's Jason Simon-Tachi and Brad Thompson from the AT&T rooftop across the street. Interesting name, Dakota Hudson. I can't wait to watch him.
I was talking to Marty Meyer again, and he was scouting director and farm director for the Cardinals at one time, now works for the Reds. And he was saying that he saw Flaherty, he saw Hudson. He was talking about all the big arms the Cardinals have coming, and very impressed.
And the 2-1 is a ground ball that's hit to Colbois. 1-2-3 inning for Flaherty. DeYoung, Martinez, Molina coming up. 1-0 our score. Why are we showing this? This is Daniel Descalso, the only Cardinal rookie that hit a home run in 2011. Well, you can't say that about the Cardinals of 2017. 2011, pretty good year. And then home runs by rookies since 2011. This season, 42. One in 2011.
And the guy at the plate is responsible for 22 of those 42.
First pitch to Young, fights it off, and a soft liner hit to short for the first out. Here's Jose Martinez, a single to right, first time up. Malley was able to pitch out of the jam in the home half of the second with the Cardinals bases loaded. And a 3-2 pitch to Pham and got him to ground out. Three home runs, 10 driven in the last 9 games by Jose Martinez.
I'm sure everybody tried to change Stan Musial and his stance, and everybody wanted to quiet down Martinez, but
when you do that,
you can hit.
That's right. Martinez 2 for 2. The cleanup hitter and then figure out everybody else. Cardinal rookies, highest average since 1940. Pujols, Pendleton, Stan the Man, and Jose Martinez. Big McBride, John Mabry back in 1995. Here's Yadier Molina.
Boy, Big McBride. Callaway County kid, you know, Fulton Flash.
One out runner at first. And a strike to Yadi.
When you talk about the eye problem of Tommy Pham, I always think about Big McBride. Big's career ended, you know, much after he had left St. Louis. I think he was in Cleveland and he wore contacts but got some bad solution, and it ended his career. He couldn't see.
That's line foul. 0-2. With Pham, it can be a cornea issue with the eye. Could be solution. It could be not the right contacts. 0-2 pitch. 1-2. Molina 131 hits to lead the Cardinals and all catchers in the game today. There's 75 RBIs. That catches your attention now with what he's done here recently. Leads all catchers. And a ground ball up the middle, under the glove of Cozart.
I'm sure they'll give a hit to Yadi, but you kind of think about Paul DeYoung. Well, we said Cozart's a really good fielder, and we mean that, and he always has been. But that shows you the difference, that a play very similar, Paul DeYoung was able to turn into a double play. And here he's not able to corral the ball. It goes for an infield single for Yadi. Yadi is 5 RBIs away from his career high of 80.
So the base hit for Yadier Molina. Here is Colton Wong, the tying run at second base. Go ahead run at first. Wong with a walk first time up. Popped up left side and out of play. His double inside the third base line last night, which is his 26th of the year. 26 doubles for Colton Wong.
Good solid year for him offensively, and of course he's one of the guys that I think it does affect his defense, and his defense has been very solid with his good offensive year.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. One and two. Pittsburgh, Milwaukee tied at 1, top of the third. 2-2. Mets and Cubs also in the top of the third. That pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Colorado, Arizona later tonight. Corbin going in that game against Marquez. Arizona leading the wild card over the Rockies by 3. The 2-2. Wong with a fly ball out to left. The catch is made by Duvall. McDonald's Ticket Fest is back. Visit Cardinals.com/McDonald's to purchase $9 tickets. See the Cardinals play the Cubs, Busch Stadium, September 12th through the 14th. $9 tickets. Cubs, Cardinals. Central Division may be on the line.
Boy,
you can see it for $9.
I was going to say, how can you beat that price?
So 2 on, 2 outs. Barnhart out to visit. And Stephen Piscotty is at the plate. He reached on an 0-2 pitch. The single to center. Cardinals are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position so far, but where Piscotty really earned his money was in spots like these the last year and a half. Tremendous.
The top 5 of all of baseball. Delivering with runners in scoring position.
Fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Marlins and Brewers series scheduled this weekend in Miami now has been moved to Milwaukee. Impact of Hurricane Irma. Marlins return home for a series against the Mets Monday. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Piscotty pops it up. Out of play. Marlins went out on the road and they were told with the potential of Irma to pack for more than just what the road trip was scheduled for, and it'll keep them out on the road this weekend. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Nice play again by Barnhart.
Loria, the owner of the Marlins, took all the family members on the trip.
Here's the commish. He must be in the front row. That's Rick Hummel, the Hall of Fame writer of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Normally he's in the press box.
Game's not big enough for him.
The 2-2 pitch. Piscotty. The fly ball out to right should be caught. And the Cardinals have stranded 7 thus far through 3 innings. 1-0 our score from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. John Gant there on the right. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Matt Bowman is back on a roll after hitting a rough patch, Dan. Matt has given up just 1 hit and no earned runs over his last 5 outings and has gotten some really big outs. He's tied for 3rd in the National League with 67 appearances. He said that rough patch had nothing to do with overuse. He said he just needed a mental break. He told me this: even when things weren't going well, I felt good. Haven't pitched that much lately, and I feel even better. He told me he prefers to get a lot of work, Dan, and for the fans who worry he's throwing too much, he said this: I'm not Trevor Rosenthal or Aroldis Chapman. I'm not out there throwing 100 miles an hour. But he's back on track, Dan.
It's good news, and he needed a little bit of rest. He was worked hard there in that first half and at the beginning of the second half. There's Zach Cozart. That pitch in the dirt. Cozart fly to center. Cozart here, then Votto and Suarez. We're in the top of the 4th. I would imagine it's a tight game. Jack Flaherty gives you 5, maybe 6 innings, and then it's up to the bullpen. They're going to be very cautious with his innings.
But I think what they're going to do is.
And a fly ball into center. Bader is there.
Instead of shutting him down, I think they're going to let it keep on going. But like you say, monitor the innings and don't let him go too deep into a ball game.
Start your day with First Things First. Weekday mornings on FS1. Host Chris Carter, Nick Wright. They'll kick off the day. The latest in sports. First Things First. Weekdays at 5:30 on FS1. Only 3 Red players have ever reached base 300 or more times in a season. Joey Votto has done it a couple of times, closing in on 300. That'll help his cause. On base for the 2nd time. Pete Rose did it 4 different times, and you probably would not guess the 3rd. Shin Soo Choo. 310, 420 on base percentage, 540 slugging percentage. Joey Votto is on that list. Now that is a who's who in baseball history. Wow. Ruth, Williams, Gehrig, Fox, Hornsby, Votto.
All Hall of Famers, and the other one will be Votto.
Here's Suarez, grounded into a double play, first time up. That was only the 2nd hit for the Reds tonight. Check that, their 3rd hit. And first since back in the 2nd. Here's a 0-1 pitch. 0-2.
See, for a young pitcher, that he really does have good secondary pitches. Slider, the curveball, changeup, and then the good fastball to go along with it.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. In the dirt. Again for that ticket deal. Discounted seats at the AT&T rooftop. It's September 29th, October 1st. Cardinals.com/TV. The final series of the year. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Votto, your runner at first. In the dirt. They want to start the runner here. Risky business with a strikeout, Votto running, and a cannon behind the plate in Yadier Molina.
Votto has 5 steals in 6 attempts, but not stealing off of Yadi.
3-2 pitch. He is running, and it's pulled foul.
He was sort of running.
Not much of a jump.
No. And not running hard. Looking into the bench to see if the hit and run, or if he's still running on the 3-2, 1 out. Suarez has struck out 128 times.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Flaherty to Suarez. Running again, and a foul ball. It's not much of a jump.
No.
With Joey Votto. I mean, if you're Brian Price, you've seen that twice in a row. I'm not sure I send him.
I agree totally, because if it were a strikeout, Yadi's going to gun him down by 20 feet.
He's almost looking in as if it's a hit and run.
And not running.
Exactly.
You know? But you're right about it. He's looking in the whole time. Hands on the knees while the pitch is being made.
And the pitch taken for a ball, down and in. So 2 on and 1 out. Something maybe in the eye of Flaherty. T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Indians winning their 21st straight today, this afternoon at home. Yankees 3-2 win. They trail the Red Sox by 3.5 in the East, and the Dodgers, they snapped their 11-game losing skid. They've clinched a playoff spot with that win last night.
What were you telling me about if you were a betting man on the Dodgers? How much would you have made?
Oh, if you kept going up and up and up and just bet what you want, it was something like $9 million.
That they would, what, have 11 or
14.
14. Boston is losing tonight, top of the 7th to Oakland, 7-3. Tighten up that race.
Here's Scott Schebler. Runners at first and second, and the 1-0 pitch. This is where you get a little concerned if you're Mike Matheny. You got a young man, only his 3rd major league start in a game that you, and there you go, Derek Lilliquist out to visit. You don't want to see Schebler lose one, and all of a sudden you're trailing 4-0.
All right, Cardinals have stranded 7 runners to this point. They've had their opportunities, but can't put away Malley. And like you said, you don't want this game to get away. Pretty much, you know, when you're facing the Reds right now, you've got to win every game, especially after you won last night and 2 games left in the series. You're at home. But the Reds are not a fun team to be playing, because they can play nice and relaxed. They have nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. 3-0. No activity in the Cardinals pen. They turn him loose here. He's got 26 home runs. Why not? You got nothing to lose.
Oh, I think they always have the green light.
He does on 3-0, and it's a fly ball to Tommy Pham in left. So with that, there are 2 outs, and it brings in Duvall. It's a big out.
You know, anytime you have these power hitters up there and they're behind the count, I think the managers always let them go and just ask them to be disciplined, try and get a pitch that to their liking, something they can drive. But I think we rarely will see a take.
Well, talked about it earlier. 6 players in their lineup, 20 or more home runs. First time in franchise history. Here's Duvall riding a 9-game hitting streak against the Cardinals. That's pulled foul. Had an excellent year against St. Louis.
Yeah. Said he came to the Reds and the traded Mike Leake. Went to San Francisco at the trade deadline, what, 2 years ago?
The Giants really looking for any kind of offense, any kind of bat.
He was from Louisville, went to Louisville, and said he really didn't get off to a good start, but he has done it at the big league level.
And a fly ball lifted out to left, backing up Tommy Pham. He's got it. So Flaherty able to get Schebler on the 3-0 pitch, and Duvall to fly to left as well. 1-0 our score. Cincinnati. The White Rat is here. Whitey Herzog, the Hall of Famer, taking in the game. He said some really interesting things Sunday night at his golf event. And one of those was that he is really going to push that John Tudor get into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Thinks he should be in. And Whitey on a committee for that. Those that bring up some of the names, and then it goes out to the general public. But John Tudor certainly should be and will be in consideration for the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Think about 1985 when he was 1-7 and ended up what 22 and 8 or something. 120 out of 21 decisions. Just a master of the dead fish. Just throw a changeup that would just bottom would fall out of it, down and away, and hitters knew it was coming and couldn't touch it.
Out to center, and the catch is made. So Bader is the first out here in the bottom of the fourth. Quicket Loans, Rocket Arms. And a look at the fastball average velocity for these two young right-handers.
Isn't that interesting that you see 93.8, 93.9, and both guys are, well, they're control pitchers. They're really not, you know, they know how to pitch. They don't throw hard.
Here is Jack Flaherty with one out, nobody on. Well wishes to our buddy Lou Brock, who's watching tonight and watching right now. Lou, we're thinking about you.
Absolutely.
Want to see you down here at the ballpark. Jack McGrail, happy birthday, celebrating his 18th birthday here at the game tonight. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Lou, we should tell you, everywhere we go, everybody's asking us, how's Lou Brock doing? They're missed down here at the ballpark, so get back here soon.
Last 2 days talking with Bader, I referenced Lou. Talking to a writer today and was asking me about Lou, and I was very pleased to say how much of a big part he was for me and on and off the field, and how he treated me, and very, very special man. You know the exploits on the field; those are all documented. But Lou's the best.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Flaherty with a strikeout back in the second, trying to bunt. Now runs the count to 2-2. Pitch number 79, right off the mask of Barnhart. It's those types of blows, and he's got a different mask than what Yachty uses. Yachty has got the hockey-style goalie mask, but these direct shots, watch. And Yachty, we've talked about it, with a right-handed batter, a pitch like that, he actually turns his head slightly to have it catch the side of the helmet, not square, literally between the eyes. That's the reason he's done that. He said he can feel the effects a little bit of that. Now, the one thing that these masks have on the front is a little bit more cushion. It's easy for me to say up here, but the cushion near the forehead.
You can see all the padding around the jaws and chin.
Ground ball that's hit to short. And that's out number 2. Cardinals hit a home run, get a free frozen Coke or McDouble the next day with the McDonald's app. Download it for exclusive deals. Matt Carpenter with another walk tonight. He's also flied out to left. 10 walks this month, all in the last 5 games of this homestand. And to think that the numbers have piled up for Carpenter with walks, he had only 12 in the month of July.
He's got 99 now for the season. New career high was set last night and again tonight.
Well, both these teams will get in the respective bullpens of their opponents. One of the bright spots for the Reds, at least against the Cardinals, he has been lights out. Raisel Iglesias, he is good. Here's a 1-0. He's been in the back end of their games. Problem is, he's been getting there with a lead for the Reds.
Iglesias has 11 consecutive scoreless appearances against St. Louis. Cardinals are just 120 average, 6 for 50 when facing him.
Two balls and 1 strike on Carpenter. Shift on the right side of the infield. By the way, if you're thinking, well, should John Tudor be in the Hall of Fame, the Cardinals Hall of Fame or not? His winning percentage was .705. 705 as a Cardinal, 3rd all time.
He didn't look like it, but boy, you're talking about a fierce competitor.
Oh yeah.
And whatever.
Inside corner and a strikeout of Carpenter. We head to the 5th. 1-0. Beautiful night here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Another all-important game. Jim Foley running that camera, working hard tonight. The shot, the view that he has. Section 328 here at the ballpark. Jose Peraza singled, then was erased, caught stealing. Cleveland has tied the 1935 Cubs with win number 21 in a row. 6 sweeps in a row. Here's the 0-2. They're 34 games above 500, most since 1999. That's when they were 33 above 500. They finished 32 above 500. Those great teams in the late 90s. Ground ball that's pulled foul. So here's the breakdown. They have trailed for a total of 4 2/3 during the 21 games that they've won in a row. That's incredible. Good example there of Molina turning his head, especially with a right-handed batter at the plate. Here's a 1-2. Ground ball to Young, circles it, and safe at first. To the naked eye, I thought he was out with the stretch unless he's off the bag.
And now I say he's safe. And foot's still on it, but I think he gets the bag, foot down, before it got to the back of the glove. Very close, though.
So beats it out. It's an infield hit. 2 for 2. Martinez towers over Jose Peraza. There's Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitter. Runner at first and nobody out. During the 21 games that they've won consecutive, 7 have been by shutout. That's just dominating.
Well, they tried to win the World Series last year with what, less than half a staff.
They've done this without Andrew Miller. They hope to have him back by postseason play. He's dealing with a knee injury. First pitch to Barnhart. Taken for a ball. They start to at least stretch and get loose in the Cardinals pen. And again, you wouldn't imagine that Flaherty would go much above 5 innings. Cardinals have not given a innings limit on Jack Flaherty, but our best guess would be 5 or 6 innings every 5th day to be very cautious with him. Here's a 1-0.
You know, instead of shutting him down, I think that's exactly what they're going to do, Danny, is like take him out after 5 innings. Kind of monitor it that way, and then he can pitch every day, at least until you get Wainwright coming back, and could, if he went into the rotation.
And the 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Mentioned that Brad Thompson and Jason Simon-Tachi over at the AT&T rooftop tonight. Specially priced ticket for the games on September 29th and October 1st at cardinals.com/TV. And we'll visit with those two next inning, get their thoughts on Flaherty and some of the other minor leaguers. Here's a 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Ryan Sheriff, left-hander, getting loose for the Cardinals. Back to Flaherty, in and out of his glove, and he makes sure to get one. Could have been a double play, turns into one, and Flaherty not happy with himself.
Oh, you had it right there, Danny, as you said. Bounce back here, catches it, starts to make the throw, but did not make the connection when he reached into his glove. So he doesn't panic, stays with it, and at least gets the one out, gets the batter Barnhart out. You have no chance to get the lead man, so you get the secondary man, and you got to make sure you get one out.
Here's Malley. He struck out back into third. First pitch to him. Late swing. I just wonder what Brian Price might have done if he got a couple of runners in scoring position, even though it's only the fifth. Young pitcher, they're very cautious with him. Would he then go to his bullpen, or does he say, well, our bullpen's been roughed up enough, I'll stick with the hot hand, and that's his pitcher right now?
And you couldn't argue either way. It's kind of in a bind. And I think with Malley, they're very concerned about his innings. They've already shut down Castillo. From what I understand, Castillo is their #1 pitching prospect. And he'll be in the rotation next year, and then Malley's #2.
1-2 the count. I think it'd be interesting. Maybe even tomorrow we could do this, but certainly next year. What have the Reds gotten out of the Cueto deal, the Mike Leake deal, which is Duvall? And that's been a good one. The Chapman deal, up and in.
But you think about Cueto. You got those 3 left-handers, and where are they?
That's my point.
Yeah, they are either hurt but they're not here at the big league level. Lamb and guys that they were really counting on.
2-2 is laced foul. Jay Bruce deal to the Mets. Mets then turned him over to Cleveland, and he has been outstanding since joining the Indians. That'd be some fun. Join that team and looking like you're going to postseason play without question. The 2-2 pitch to Malley. Hit him. With the left-handed batter coming up, you wonder if that's going to be it, and it will.
It'd be. You just knew when Sheriff was warming up. You look at the lineup and go Winker. He should have been out of the inning with the pitcher coming up, but he accidentally hit him.
So Ryan Sheriff coming on with 2 runners on, first and second. Chevy called to the pen. 1-0 our score. 1-0 our score, top of 5 with 1 out. Ryan Sheriff is in, and this is our State Farm perfect pair.
Yeah, I wanted to show you this. We're talking about the pitch from away, but then that pitch right there, up and in, really kind of got into the mind of Duvall. So the 4th inning, another pitch that's inside. There's a good slider away, but he kind of left his backside. He kind of didn't have the, he was thinking still about pitches being inside and got that attention, and so he's just kind of reaching and just got the bat on and just flew out to left.
Left-handed batters 1 for 10 against Sheriff so far with 4 strikeouts since he was called up. Earlier tonight, the only run, Jesse Winker lit out the ball game with a homer. The numbers on Sheriff. That was the first home run by a Red to lead off a game in St. Louis since 2011. Chris Heisey did that against Jake Westbrook. Here's the 0-1. Popped up. Paul DeYoung calling for it. And he makes the catch. Infield fly. And it brings in Cozart.
Sheriff's done a nice job of throwing strikes. Keeps the ball in the bottom of the strike zone, and most of the time he gets a lot of ground balls there. He off-speed pitch, gets a pop-up in the infield.
Zach Cozart 0 for 2. Twice is flied out to center. Ground ball up the middle. DeYoung keeps it on the infield and gets the out. Oh, what a play. Paul DeYoung. He robs Cozart, and that saves a run.
We're going to look at this. Great play though, wasn't it?
Regardless if he's out or safe, takes away a run from scoring and keeps us a 1-0 game. Awfully close at second base. So the Reds will challenge here.
Yeah, tremendous job to get to that ball. Then you see into the ground, you flip it there. Makes a strike, but the question is, we're going to get there in time or not.
The front leg ever touch
That's
initially because he did beat him, but I'm not sure the front leg ever touched.
The pitcher running there, and that may have been the difference too. But we've seen a lot of guys that front leg never touches the bag.
The Cardinals feel that this will be overturned and already heading out to their defensive positions. Sheriff is throwing. So once he touches the bag, the force is out, and then it becomes a tag play. So even though if he comes off the bag, it doesn't matter. He touched it before the ball was caught, comes off the bag, then it becomes a tag play. So the bases will be loaded. DeYoung saves a run and keeps this a 1-0 Cincinnati lead, and the always dangerous Joey Votto.
And no place to put him.
And a base hit into left. He fights it off. 1 run will score. Throw by Pham is cut off. That makes it a 2-0 Cincinnati lead. Votto on base for the 3rd time. 2 singles and now the RBI. Go along with a walk, and it brings in Suarez.
Throw a strike, you'll find somewhere. Look at the inside out stroke, slices it to left field. His 94th RBI.
So the base is loaded. This is all Sheriff now. They've got nobody up and throwing in the Cardinal pen.
will shortly.
A ball and a strike.
I say that because the phone in the bullpen. Looks like Gant is going to get up.
Here's a 1-1. Well hit out to deep left field, and this ball is gone. Cardinals elect to have the lefty pitch to the cleanup hitter Suarez. Hits from the other side of the plate, and it cost them. It's a grand slam, and it's 6-0 Reds. Cardinals were maybe an inch or two away from being out of the inning in a forced play at second. Votto then the base hit, and the blast here by Suarez. 6-0 Cincinnati.
Suarez's 25th home run. RBI total now to 79. High in middle of the plate. He didn't miss it.
Well, the Cardinals electing to have Sheriff go with the lefty-lefty matchup with Votto. Then you had nobody up and loose for Suarez, and now a right-hander getting up. And a bouncer towards Jose Martinez. Sheriff to the bag. And Schebler the final out. Big inning for the Reds. 6-0 our score. On Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. Well, the Cardinals have their work cut out for them, trailing 6-0 as we move to the home half of the fifth. The grand slam hit by Suarez following the base hit by Joey Votto.
Cardinals haven't had a chance or couldn't get the big hit when they needed it. They've stranded 7 through the first 3.
And here's Tommy Pham. And the first pitch is strike.
Mally's retired the last 5 batters. Start pecking away.
0-2 the count. Pham has walked and also grounded out. Best opportunity for the Cardinals. They had the bases loaded in the second inning. A 3-2 count with 2 outs on Pham, and he grounded out to second. 88 pitches for the young right-hander of the Reds. The 0-2. Just missed.
In that second inning, they also had runners at first and third, nobody out.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Hit out of play. And that hit Tommy Pham.
Ball runs in on him. It's in the jersey. Maybe that's the start to a winning rally. Boy, what a nice play.
Cardinals all-time power stats: most home runs by a rookie, Pujols. Then DeYoung tied with Chris Duncan. And that pitch taken outside. So Suarez hit the grand slam. That was his 6th home run against a lefty this year. He's batting .274 against the lefties, .268 against the righties. And a fly ball lifted into right. And thus far tonight, DeYoung is 0 for 3. One out, one on, and it brings in Jose Martinez.
Jose 2 for 2. Has 2 of the 4 Cardinal hits tonight.
So 1 out runner at first. Reds picked up a run in the first in 5 moments ago in the top half of this inning.
Right-hander Kevin Shackelford warming up for the Reds.
And there's a strike to Jose Martinez. Rip to second and back at first. Pham safely.
Hard hit ball right there. Tommy Pham, you know, you want to get that good secondary lead. Tough play, but he gets back safely. I always told, don't get double up on a line drive, but sometimes you're so eager to help out, just stray too far.
So 2 outs, and here's Yadier Molina. The strike to Molina. Infield hit, also flied out to right with 2 runners on back in the first. There's that slider. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cubs now a 5-2 lead in the top of the 5th. Milwaukee a 5-1 lead in the top of the 5th against Pittsburgh, and the Cardinals trailing 6-0. Here's a 1-1. One ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. John Gant continues to throw in the Cardinal pen. The right-hander Kevin Shackelford for the Reds, also a right-hander. There's a look at Gant, who's done a nice job. The 2-2 swing and a miss. He struck him out. We head to the 6th inning, and 6-0 our score. the man with mom and dad, and on the right at the AT&T rooftop, Jason Simatachi and Brad Thompson. So, Simo, I'll start with you. What did you see from Jack Flaherty tonight?
Well, I mean, we're happy with how he threw the ball, but obviously the PFP cost him about 5 more runs, and that's what we're not happy about right now.
Yeah, and did you see a guy, though, that was better tonight than in the previous 2 starts?
Yeah, I did. There's about the first 2-3 innings was pretty good. The last inning kind of looked like he was trying to press a little bit, trying to be too fine with his pitches, flying open, and obviously working behind. It's not a good thing at this level.
How about for you, Brad? What did you see?
Well, I think Simo hit on some good things, and I think a big thing being a professional pitcher, and especially pitching at this level, is knowing yourself, right? And when guys get on base, knowing how to slow some things down, and Jason just talked about the fact that he was speeding up. Sometimes you have to figure out how to slow the game down when it gets quick on you, and he's going to learn that. That's part of the process.
Adam Duvall will lead it off, and this is John Gant. Gant we have seen in the minor leagues, and guys stay with us throughout the inning. First pitch to Duvall is taken low. Carson Kelly is also taken over behind the plate. And Simo, you saw Carson Kelly an awful lot. This kid is special, isn't he?
There's no doubt about that. I mean, I think he can, obviously I think the organization say he can improve a little bit on some stuff, but the way he smothers the ball when it's in the dirt, calls a pretty good game, commands the attention or the respect of the pitchers. Very bright, knowledgeable about the game, and very eager to learn. I mean, he's what's been his 4th year now catching, so he's made some pretty good strides.
Cardinals, their largest comeback this year in a win was a 5-run deficit, and that was back on June 21st at Philadelphia. Al Rabaski, Dan McLaughlin with you here in the booth at Busch Stadium, AT&T rooftop. Brad Thompson, Jason Simatachi, and a base hit in the center. What's on tap is presented by Budweiser, and we'll see Luke Weaver go tomorrow for the Cardinals. Brad, what have you seen from Luke?
Well, I tell you what, man, this is a kid that looks like he just took leaps and bounds from last year. You see the fastball command. He feels really comfortable throwing the changeup. Actually, all his pitches in any counts, that's been really impressive to me. And the fact that he's just being super aggressive with everything. He finds himself in good pitchers' counts, and obviously you're seeing the results here these last couple of times out.
I'm interested, Simo, as Jose Peraza will be the batter. And it could be a double play ball to Young. Wong, the turn, and safe at first. Luke Weaver gets a lot of strikeouts up in the zone. Are you seeing in the minor league level that the hitters are being taught about the launch angle because of shifts? And when you have that, pitchers can get away sometimes with pitches up in the zone.
Yeah, there's obviously, like we talked about, the launch angle. There's holes on the hands and above the strike zone, if not at the top of the strike zone. And when you get guys that can command their pitches, and you know, you'll hear guys talk about high spin rate on the fastballs. So when the ball doesn't drop as much as it should, or the hitters are usually normally used to, so they'll swing under it. But with the launch angle, getting out above the zone is something that's you see a lot of down in the minor leagues as well too.
Here's Tucker Barnard.
You know, we really saw the Los Angeles Dodgers pitchers, and they had some power arms, particularly coming out of their bullpen, really elevated the ball and capitalized on that the guys are all trying to launch the ball. But I also, interesting to you, because I think a lot of pitchers today don't pitch to hitter's strengths, or they go away from the hitter's strength and they don't attack their weaknesses. So that backwards.
Well, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I think what Brad and I have been talking about it a lot too, just in the major leagues as well, is you don't see a lot of guys throwing inside off the plate for effect.
Exactly.
And with that being said, you see guys stay very comfortable on the plate, just like that guy right there. He stayed on that pitch away. It's a heck of a pitch, but you got to make him respect that pitch in the inside and keep him honest. That way, so if you do happen to make a mistake, it's a miss hit or maybe a swing and miss, or even just takes a pitch for a strike.
Even at the AA level, how much video, Jason, is being used for both pitchers and hitters? Number one. And number two, how about the shifts that are being used in the game as well?
Yes, there's a lot of video. The way this game has gone, analytical, it's a nice double play right there.
Well, hold that thought, okay?
All right.
There's a double play, 4-6-3. We'll talk about some of the issues and what's happening in the minor leagues throughout baseball when we come back. 9th. You can look like the pros on the ice and on the field. That night, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a replica Blues batting practice jersey, just like the ones worn by the Cardinals during pregame warm-ups, courtesy of Fox Sports Midwest. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Al Raboski up here in the booth. I'm Dan McLaughlin. This is our Chevy call to the pen. New pitcher in for Cincinnati, Kevin Shackelford. Over at the AT&T rooftop, Jason Simon-Tachi was the Double-A pitching coach for the Cardinals Springfield this year. Brad Thompson as well, our analyst on games and the pre and the post game. So Jason, back to you about the use of video and shifts even at the Double-A level.
Yeah, like I was saying, there's a lot of video usage of we got a thing called Redbird Dog. It's a analytical thing where you can go in and watch video from prior games. You can go in and look where the pitch locations is at. You can select if you're ahead in the count, below in the count, guys in running position or scoring position. So there's a lot of analytical stuff that with the numbers you can throw into the video. A lot of the guys, hitters and pitchers, use that a lot. It's just another thing for them to actually look at the mechanics, build on their foundation of whether they're hitting or throwing, and trying to be as consistent as possible.
Long with the ground ball at first, Votto to Shackelford. How about with the shift? A lot of these kids are young, 18, 19, 20 years old. They're not seeing a shift maybe in college or in high school, and you've got to try to convince them that, hey, the numbers are there. This is why we do it. Do the players buy in for the most part?
I think they're skeptical, and main reasons why is, like you said, they've never done it before. So change, something that, they're afraid of losing something instead of gaining something. So after a while, they go ahead and do what you want them to do. They'll go ahead and shift. We see a lot of shift against us. The Astros do that a lot. But at the same time, I kind of shake my head at it too, because at the lower levels, if the guys are good, they're there for a month and then they're gone, or
right.
2 months,
Right.
And at the same time, your pitchers aren't commanding the pitches like they do up here. So with the shift being, you can get the numbers, you can get the shadings and graphs, but bottom line is it's not as consistent as it is up here.
At the plate, Stephen Piscotty. Brad, when did shifts start to become part of what you saw behind you?
Well, I'll tell you what, they were definitely later on in my career, and I was fortunate enough to have a lot of guys with a lot of range behind me anyhow, and God knows I needed them behind me. But I'll tell you what, it's as a pitcher, it can get frustrating at times when you see a ground ball that you believe is going to be at the shortstop, and then that shortstop's not there. But the feeling is equally as good when you give up a rocket that you think's in a hole and there's somebody standing there. So these numbers are there for a reason. Hitters have tons of tendencies. They're going to continue to go after them. So I feel like it's a valuable tool. And that's the biggest thing when you talk about the video and you talk about the shifts and all the different things that are out there. They're just tools for players to be able to use. And I think each player is different, especially when it comes to video, how much they need to use, what works for them.
Guys, I'm going to go back a little bit. You're talking about Flaherty and also Weaver. I think what Flaherty is experiencing right here today is going to help him dramatically like it has for Weaver. The only place you're going to learn is being out there on that mound and pitching in live action, and that's where you're going to learn.
Al, do you have Simo bugged? Because Simo said the same exact thing as soon as that inning happened. Nobody likes to fail, right? And failing at the big league level in front of a lot of people, it's disappointing, but you learn from it and you grow.
No question. I mean, and that's a bottom line at this level. The hitters adjust a little bit quicker, and as a pitcher, as soon as they adjust, you have to make the adjustment. And just like a hitter and a pitcher, you got to stay with your strengths, and until they make the adjustment, you just keep going after them.
And you made a very good point that really the thing that hurt Flaherty the most was not fielding his position.
Yeah. Well, he got behind a little bit too right before that, and then like kind of nitpicking a little bit. It looked like.
And that's what Weaver did last year, and they convinced him this year attack the strike zone.
Exactly. It's amazing when you find out what if you give yourself, it sounds kind of weird, but if you give yourself an opportunity to fail, you find out how successful you can be.
Who are some of the other names, Simo, that really caught your attention this year in the minor leagues?
Well, geez, Gallen threw the ball really well, Zach Gallen. Let's see.
How about Gomber?
I tell you what, Austin Gomber the maturation process on him really has moved forward. He was in and out of the zone a lot. He's got, obviously, you guys saw him in spring training with his curveball.
Hold that thought again.
Okay.
Third out, the strikeout of Bader. 6-0 our score as we head to the 7th here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Weekend of the regular season. Cardinals take on the Brewers Saturday, September 30th. That day, Scott Rowland bobblehead giveaway courtesy of Coca-Cola Dearborg's. Fans also receive a Cardinals magnet schedule for 2018 thanks to Shelter Insurance. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for more information. Brad Thompson and Jason Simon-Tachi over at the AT&T rooftop again. Reduced tickets, way reduced, for September 29th and October 1st for the AT&T rooftop. Cardinals.com/TV to get those tickets. Tonight only. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin here in the booth at Busch Stadium. Second inning of work for John Gant. Kevin Shackelford swings through the first pitch. I'm going to ask both you guys over there. Scott Rowland, I'll start with you, Brad. What comes to mind?
Well, first of all, the jersey on that bobblehead is way too clean because Scott was dirty all the time, cleaning up everybody's messes, and he was just incredible. You talk about a rookie coming up. So my first year was 2005, and I remember this like it was yesterday. Jogging in, Busch 2, Major League debut. I'm about to hyperventilate. I throw my warm-up pitches, and here walks up Scott Rowland after the balls get thrown around. Nice pitch right there by John Gant, by the way. And he says, "Hey, lots of people here, huh?" Yeah. He said, "Are your folks here?" I said, "No, not yet. They'll be in a couple of days." He looks at me and he says, "Well, good luck." and just walked back over there, and he probably snagged about 3 rockets for me. But I'll tell you what an unbelievable competitor. We all know here in St. Louis, getting a chance to watch him over the years, he was just special. He was different over there. And for me, he's the best third baseman I've seen.
How about for you, Simo?
Yeah, like Brad said, he's a pretty good defensive guy. But I think what's amazing is the fact of the size that he was, and the agility they had to move and catch balls and then obviously throw them. But I tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen a guy eat more ketchup with anything than Scott Rowland.
Really?
Yeah, oh God. He'd probably drink about 3/4 of a gallon of milk after a game and probably put half of those 16, 17, 20 ounces of ketchup on his.
Not on a steak, though.
Oh,
what are you doing on a steak?
Steak, mashed potatoes,
Who's going to tell him he can't do it? He's a big man.
That's gross. So, Simo, we were talking, this is Jesse Winker at the plate. We were talking about Austin Gomber, and I know that's a name that, if you follow the Cardinals, you've seen that he's had a really good year. Some thought, you know what, you may see him up here in the big leagues in September. That's not the case, but tell us a little bit more about that lefty.
Yeah, he turned in a really good special year. He really finished strong. He ended up having his last month of work. I'm just sorry watching that ball go foul. Barely, yeah. So no, he really is. come into his own. He really started made a couple adjustments on his mechanics. He kind of had elbows and you know what else going everywhere, so it was hard to repeat. He's kind of smoothed that out and started getting the ball, filling up the zone with all of his pitches. And so his fastball, his curveball, which you guys just saw in spring training, and his changeup has come a long way.
Simon, you just mentioned one of my pet peeves. I can't believe that people have trouble repeating their delivery or fastball command.
Yeah, it's well, I can't explain it either.
Young guys, it's part of it, isn't it?
Well, I think it is. It's a process that the guys have to go through. There's a lot of patience with all the player development coaches down there. Trust me. You know, we're talking about guys that maybe playing the first year of pro ball, second year, and they're learning how to be professionals as well as learning how to be a pitcher, a professional teammate, as well as growing up as a man off the field. So there's a lot of work going on between those guys' ears.
So 2 outs, and here is Zach Cozart. The breaking pitch taken outside. How about the ballpark in Springfield and the crowds that you guys draw?
It's pretty special too. I think this might be 5-6 years in a row that they've won like minor league field of the year. Brock down there does an outstanding job. Him and Derek and the rest of his crew. It's a pretty plush field. They actually have the same exact grass that the St. Louis does. And they take care of that. The crowds are into it just as much as they are here.
You see a very good changeup from Gant. For both of you guys, how did you learn your changeups? And Gant has got the claw grip, really unique look at his changeup.
For me, that was a pitch that was just kind of ever developing throughout my career. But when I got to the big leagues, I made the mistake of saying, you know, when I was talking to Yachty the first time, hey, what do you got? I said sinker, slider, changeup. Well, he really took that changeup thing to heart because my first game, he called it multiple times. I didn't have a real feel for it. I remember after the game getting a call from Adam Wainwright. He sent me a text message, actually. He said, when the heck did you get a changeup? I said, well, I lied and said I had one, so I had to develop one on the spot. But I'll tell you what, when I started games, it sure ended up being a friend of mine.
Oh. Martinez missed it, and that should have been the third out. Just flat out missed it.
Yeah, no way to describe it other than that, and he'll be the first one to tell you.
So that'll be an error. Jose Martinez. We have seen the transition of Paul DeJong going to be an everyday shortstop at the big league level. Simo at Double-A primarily. What was he doing for you guys?
Yeah, he was down there playing third base primarily. He played second base a couple times, and then obviously towards the end of the season, the heads got together and said, well, why don't you throw him at short and just see how he moves? And obviously I think it turned out pretty good for him.
Is it surprising you guys how well he's played defensively?
He looks so comfortable, doesn't he? He doesn't look like a guy that's kind of bounced around the infield, and I just like his first instinct. He's aggressive to the ball. He has a strong arm in the hole. I remember his first game when he came up, when the Cardinals decided to bring him up and send Diaz down, there was a ground ball up the middle and something that had been a hit over and over again that he ranged to. He just looks very comfortable, and we know the Cardinals have a lot of pitchers that get some ground balls. He has been a big boost. And when you look at how this season has turned around, I think a lot of it has turned around because they've been stronger up the middle.
Danny and I, before the game, were talking about Paul, and we were just saying what a great young man he is. I mean, both on and off the field, he holds himself in a high esteem.
There's a 2-0 pitch.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good feel of the game. He's got some IQ on the field, and his demeanor as well as off the field. He's just kind of laid back, you know, but like Brad was saying, his anticipation of expecting the baseball, that first step, he gets to the balls and is really, in my opinion, has really surprised me that how well he's fit in at shortstop.
Hard to believe this is only his 120th pro game at shortstop. Wow. 2-1 pitch. Joey Votto, our BJC healthcare difference maker. The season against the Cardinals, .471, 6 home runs, and he's driven in 16.
I think that's pretty good.
It's enough to make you guys want to stay in the booth over there.
I just don't want a souvenir. That's all.
This guy is something else. The 2-2 pitch to Votto. Simo, other position players you know, we talk a lot about pitching, having you guys on, but position players standing out right now?
Oh, man, I think they're almost all here. But
You're probably right.
Sierra, let's see, Adolis Garcia.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, you know, in Double-A when he's down there. I mean, there was two guys that really stood out that you said to yourself, these guys could play in the big leagues probably pretty soon. And Eduardo Rios from L.A., the Dodgers, and then Adolis. Those are the two guys in that league that really stood out.
Signed at the very end of spring training and then signed to Double-A Springfield. Then, correct me if I'm wrong, then made the jump to Triple-A, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, he's in there now, I think.
Yeah, he is.
They're playing tonight. I don't know what the score is. I haven't checked.
We'll try to update that during the commercial break. 2-2 the count with 2 outs and a runner at first. Memphis leads El Paso 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th. We get the update right now. Inside to the 2010 MVP. And Memphis has just added 2 more runs. They lead it 6-2.
It's a beautiful thing.
Of course they did. Team won 91 games. Stubby Clapp doing a heck of a job over there.
Very good job. 3-2 the count. Here on Votto. Runner off with his next pitch.
PCL Manager of the Year.
Should be.
And a line out, and Martinez definitely catches that one. Time to stretch. 6-0 our score. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. In those reduced tickets, the price point way down for September 29th, October 1st. AT&T Rooftop, September 29th, October 1st, Cardinals.com/TV. Here's Carson Kelly. Now Raboski up here, Dan McLaughlin with you over at the AT&T Rooftop. Jason Simatachi, he's been the Double-A pitching coach this season at Springfield for the Cardinals, and our colleague at Fox Sports Midwest, Brad Thompson. Simo, when you saw Carson Kelly from a pitcher's perspective, give us the positives in how he calls a game and receives the baseball.
He does receive the ball very well. I know for a fact that the pitchers loved throwing to him because when they had to put a ball in the dirt or needed to, he was going to block it and smother it, and it didn't get too far. He struggled there in the beginning, I think, as you know, going from third base to catching, and his hitting struggled as well too, trying to pick up a new position. But as a pitcher, calling the games, there was a learning curve. There's no doubt, especially in Double-A, just because of the fact.
There's a ground ball to third for the first out. We'll see the Hyundai pitch arsenal on Shackelford. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Just because of the fact that the guys commanded their pitches a lot better than down in A-ball. So he learned to be able to, sit in the thirds or even on the corners, and guys were capable of hitting that spot. I remember him telling me, man, the game within the game. When you got a pitcher out there commanding the pitches, he said that's when it becomes real fun.
Simon, how tough is it to take a young catcher and explain to him that this guy can throw the ball by all these hitters here, but when he moves up the ladder, he won't be able to, so we have to incorporate the off-speed pitches.
Yeah, we do that a lot, especially at Double-A, because that's where guys really have to fine-tune their off-speed pitches, whether it's a slider or the curveball. I mean, obviously the curveball for most guys is the only pitch that goes north and south. But you just, as they're warming up or before the game, we were telling them, hey, look, you're going to throw this curveball 20, 24, 25 times. You need to get better. And that's what we did with Hudson.
Do you, even at that level, call some of the pitches for particular pitchers? Because even though they know, as Al said, they can blow somebody away with a fastball or whatever dominant pitch they may have, will you call pitches from the dugout to make sure that they continue to work on the weaknesses that they have?
I don't like calling pitches. I bet you I've maybe called 10 pitches this year. I want the pitchers and the catchers to be accountable for what they're calling. They have to think about it, and they're going to live with the consequences. If we keep calling pitches for them, occasionally we will, but if we keep doing that, then.
It's a double play ball, and Pham is out.
Yeah. So.
Stay with us. We head to the 8th. 6-0 our score. Game show. Cardinals 2 games out as we speak, but that could change after tonight. Both Chicago and Milwaukee winning their games, at least at the moment. Nissan drive of the game. Suarez against the lefty Sheriff, and a grand slam. A backbreaker at that point in the contest. The Nissan drive of the game. Sam Tuivailala is the new pitcher, hard-throwing right-hander of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hanser works in San Diego on the 7th of this month.
It's our Chevy call to the pen. Jason Simon-Tachi and Brad Thompson over at the AT&T rooftop. And Simo, I'll start with you, and then Brad, I'd like to get your thoughts on Tuivailala. But we're talking about trying to improve a pitch, or maybe sometimes eliminating a pitch that hasn't been successful for you. What did you guys try to do with Sam Tuivailala over the last couple of years?
I tell you the truth, I think what they were trying to do was get him to throw a curveball and then go to a cutter and it ended up being a slider. Is that what he's throwing right now? I haven't seen Sam throw in a long time.
Curveball has become a much better pitch for him. He's always had the very good fastball at 95.
Right.
Yeah, I think he did the slider and the cutter a little bit, and then decided to junk it and gone back to his curveball, and it's been very good for him.
There's a ground ball hit to Greg Garcia.
Yeah, they made a switch, so Garcia will be batting in Molina's old spot, which was the pitcher spot, and then now the pitcher is in Matt Carpenter's spot in the order.
How about for you, Brad? What have you seen from Sam?
You know what? I think it's funny. When you first get called up to the league, a lot of times it doesn't matter if you have stuff like I did where you're throwing 88, 89, or you throw 100 miles an hour. Sometimes you try to be too fine. Sometimes you just try. You get away from what has given you success. And I think over the last couple of years, we've seen Sam really just trust his stuff more. And the breaking ball has gotten a lot better. You saw a nice one there, get a ground ball. He has confidence in that. He attacks the strike zone. I think closing out a lot of games for him. The typical 5-6-3 here. Yes.
That's classic.
Nice call, Brad.
Yeah, no problem on that one. But I'll tell you what, just the confidence that he has. Closing out games in the minor leagues, we all know getting that 27th out, I think, is a different animal. And the fact that he's been able to do that, I think that's breeding a lot of confidence for him here in the big leagues also.
As you said, the typical 5-6-3.
At least the third good play from DeYoung.
Easy on the play-by-play, Brad, all right? I like this job.
Apologies.
Wait a minute now. You got about 12 of us on this side. You know,
Worry
spread
about
the
you.
wealth. Spread the wealth, kid.
You do you, I'll do me, okay? So 2 outs, nobody on. And here is Duvall. That pitch is popped up. 4 pitches, and we say goodnight to Simo and Brad. Guys, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us, fellas.
We had a blast. Thank you.
Bottom of by Bud Light, famous among friends, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Many thanks to Jason Simon-Tachi and Brad Thompson. 6-0 our score. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. Michael Lorenzen, hard throwing right-hander, and our Chevy Colt to the pen. Here's Paul DeYoung.
Lorenzen had a very good first half, but he struggled in the second half. ERA over 6. First half it was 2.93.
Numbers on Lorenzen this year. And the 0-1 pitch to DeYoung. Ball tonight is hitless. Well, great work again by those in the scoreboard room here at Busch Stadium, catching the sights and sounds here at the ballpark. The videos between innings kept the fans entertained.
Fun atmosphere, isn't it? Cardinals just 5 hits on the night, 5 singles.
Grateful Dead night, and even Fredbird is into it. And you were telling me before you don't like music at all. Is that correct?
I'm not a music guy at all.
So what do you listen to when you're driving down to the ballpark?
Talk radio.
Talk radio, sports radio, or
both?
Okay. 2-2 pitch. Little chopper. Gloved at third. Nice play. Join us at the ballpark for the last regular season game on Sunday, October 1st. That day, all fans receive a 2018 Cardinals Magnet schedule, courtesy of Shelter Insurance. And you also get a free ticket voucher for a 2018 regular season home game. Children under 48 inches will get a free ticket to Six Flags, valid any Sunday until October 29th. So great giveaways. Cardinals.com/promotions. One out. Here's Martinez. It's a Jerry Garcia lookalike right there.
No, he came back.
Got the tie-dye. He's got the look.
I saw him on the board earlier as they showed him, and he's quite an entertainer in his own right.
1 ball and 1 strike. You would know that song because
no, but you know what? I would love to be a musician.
What instrument?
Guitar or anything. I mean, I have great respect for people who can do it, but I love people that can sing. I just know I can.
There's a swing and a miss. Are you like caller Al on talk radio, or you never call in?
No,
you
never.
just listen.
Just listen.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Let's go to Al.
Yep.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, sometimes I learn things, other times I'm entertained.
So 2 outs, nobody on, and here's Luke Voigt. The Cubs now a 6-2 lead in the top of the 7th. Brewers 8-2 over the Pirates in the bottom of the 6th. The famous James Boyd right there.
That was wrong. Garcia went in Carpenter's spot, and then Boyd is hitting for Tuivalala.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Our crowd tonight, 40,124. 40124.
Came out like always to support their team and try to propel them to postseason.
14th consecutive year with 3 million plus in attendance. Cardinals will finish second in attendance, only behind the Dodgers, and it'll be right around 3.45 in attendance. Just about the same as last year. Great crowds all season long.
You know, talking to the guys about things down there in the minor leagues. When I was in the minor leagues, you had no coaches. It was just a manager and a trainer.
There's a ground ball, broken bat. Hit to second. Cardinals go quietly. Over 40,000 here tonight as we head to the ninth. The 3 million in attendance. 6-0 our score. Ducks were on the pond, and then it was a grand slam by Suarez back in the 5th. That made it 6-0. And here is Matt Bowman in our Chevy called to the pen. 20 days rest, needs a little work. And the first pitch, a ground ball hit to short. DeYoung makes the play. StubHub is your ticket out to once-in-a-lifetime experiences, from Cardinal games to amazing concerts and shows you just don't want to miss. StubHub connects you with the world of live. StubHub, it's your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals.
You know how they say, come to the ballpark every day, you'll see something new. Ducks on the pond for me.
So the Ducks out in the bleachers.
Yeah. First time I've seen that.
Big Al Raboski fans. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Tucker Barnhart at the plate.
No, they'd be vultures.
The changeup low and away. Reminder, it's a day game tomorrow. 12:45 the first pitch. Business person special. Luke Weaver and Amir Garrett. Harrison Bader in a few steps to make the catch, and that's out number 2. Had to go down and get it. Little sink here. Plaza Tire Service, Fox Strikes.
And off the end of the bat.
Here's Phillip Ervin. With 2 outs and nobody on.
Base stealing threat.
First pitch. Fly ball into right, and a quick inning for Matt Bowman. Final hope for the Cardinals coming up. 6-0 our score. in the game, a grand slam. At that point in time, it was 2-0. The Cardinals, it was 1-0 when a challenge was put forth by the Reds to keep an inning alive. And it was a challenge that went their way. Would have been a forced play at second base and a diving stop by DeYoung. Cardinals would have been out of the inning. Instead, then Votto came up, base hit to left, run scored to make it 2-0, and then the grand slam. Luke Farrell, right-hander in.
John Farrell's son, the manager of the Boston Red Sox, and he's kind of been all around the place this season. Started with Kansas City, released with them, went to Dodgers for a while, and then designated for assignment, picked up by the Reds.
Here's Magneuris Sierra. John Farrell and the Boston Red Sox came into play tonight, 20 games above 500 and a 4-game lead against New York. The Yankees won, so lead as it stands right now, 3.5. Matter of fact, Boston lost to the A's, so lead is at 3 and head of the Bronx Bombers. It was strike to Sierra, 1-1.
Up still lead 6-2, bottom of the 7th. Milwaukee's up 8-2, top of the 7th.
And a strike, 1-2. He did go, and Sierra is the first out. Go back to the inning in which they were able to pick up a big lead. Here it is. Flaherty, what should have been a double play, does get one out. Sheriff comes in. That wound up being a grand slam. Here's Piscotty, a base hit, first time up on an 0-2 pitch.
Hesitation from Farrell before he releases the ball.
Oh, 2.
Kind of see how hitters, the first time they face him, they don't anticipate that little hesitation. Piscotty way out in front on the breaking ball.
And the 0-2 pitch. Hit down the right field line and out of play. If the Cardinals are shut out, it'll be the 6th time this year, and 3 of the 6 have been done by the Cincinnati Reds, a team that has the highest ERA in baseball. Go figure.
Yeah, and if they win this game, they'll be 1 game over 500 in the Central Division. They just don't win against anybody else but the Central, and head-to-head with the Cardinals, they're the winning.
Two is popped up. Reminder that we're on the air tomorrow at noon with the pregame show. Budweiser, What's on Tap. Luke Weaver 6 starts and a record of 5-1. ERA just over 2, and piling up a lot of strikeouts along the way.
Won 5 straight games. Let's hope it's 6.
And a grounder hit to short. This should do it. Reds come in. They take game 2. They shut out the Cardinals by the final of 6-0. Sarah Daly and Rick Horton are standing by with the post-game show with all the stats and highlights around the game tonight.
Disappointing game for the Cardinals tonight, but realistically, you knew they weren't going to win all 18 games they had left, so but they're going to have to win the majority of them.
Post-game comes your way next. 6-0 the final tonight.